amigos y amigas, you are now with Jocelyn, and in this video I actually want to talk about this Scorpio full moon that is among us. It is the last super moon of 2020, and I'm not someone who is super knowledgeable about, I'm not an astrologer. I can't tell you how to read the stars or anything like that, but I just feel like this full moon is really significant, especially as a Scorpio myself. I just feel it, and I've been very observant of it, both in my own life and with what's going on in the world. So I just wanted to come on here and talk about how I've been feeling leading up to this full moon, what my thoughts are, and how I typically go about reflecting and what my ritual looks like. Before I really get into this conversation, I do want to dedicate this video to my bestest friend, to my earth angel, to a mystic of which I am so honored to have met in this lifetime, to the most selfless, loving, giving friend who made everybody feel special, to my hermano, my brother, Isaac Kirkman. He transcended and left us in this lifetime the 2nd of January this year, so pretty recent loss. I typically would have these kinds of conversations with him, so that's why I really just want to dedicate this video to Isaac. Also, I do want to shout out one of my friends who is an astrologer, Jocelyn. She has a brand called Scorpio Mystique, and she's a Scorpio herself. Initially, she was only doing horoscopes and readings and birth charts for Scorpios, but since then, because I've been following her for, oh my gosh, since like 2013, I think. Since then, she's really expanded her brand. Now it's Know the Zodiac. She also has this other magic and melanin thing. Anyways, now she does horoscopes for every zodiac, and I always tell all my friends who want to get into really getting to know themselves in regards to astrology to follow her, because she is the one responsible for getting me to believe in reading the stars and understanding that these alignments and these moon cycles and the universe really helps us understand ourselves and why we are the way we are and our journey of self-evolution. So yeah, I kind of she has like a full moon guide that I wrote it down here to help me with the structure of this conversation. But I'll link her work and everything in my description. I do kind of add my own sauce and do my own adjustments to how I go about reflecting and approaching these full moon and new moon cycles. So I kind of do things a little different, but I wanted to use her guide as a structure for this conversation for those of you who have never really done a full moon or new moon ritual. It's more simple than you think. It really doesn't have to be anything crazy. The way that I've always looked at full moons and new moons is that they are tools for self-reflection. They are tools for your inner compass. I really like using the full moon and the new moon as timelines for myself to reflect on. Okay, this is a full moon. This is a little season, a space for reflection on what I need to release, what I want to let go of, so I can make room for the new moon that's coming in a couple weeks, which new moons are more so focused on what you want to welcome in your life. So I think it's this like just beautiful balance that the universe has given us of like giving us time to reflect on things that we need to let go before what we want to welcome. Because when we let go, when we release of things that no longer serve us, then we make room for the things that do. So yeah, last supermoon of 2020, and it's a full moon that's in Scorpio full moon. I am a Scorpio, so I understand why I've been feeling the way that I've been feeling lately. Emotions are heightened, things are more intense, transformations are more apparent, conversations and environments may feel more brutally honest. So for those of you who aren't Scorpios and may not have Scorpio placements, then you may not understand like, why have my emotions been so intense lately? Or why have I been on this end of the spectrum in the morning and then on the other end of the spectrum in the afternoon? You may have experienced an increase in intuition, feeling like just having these intuitive feelings of, you know what, maybe this is why that happened, or I feel like this is about to happen. Just moments like that. Scorpios are very, very intuitive. We are a sign of resilience and intensity and honesty and sexuality and transformation. Scorpios are actually the only sign in the zodiac that take on another form, which is the eagle and the phoenix being the most transcendent form of the Scorpio. Those are for the Scorpios who have destructed themselves and have turned into ashes many times and have risen from them. And yeah, people who just have it really, really self-destructed. And I know that sounds really intense, like, oh my God, self-destruction. But self-destruction can look in many different ways. It can look like evolving yourself, becoming a new person, letting go of long-term relationships and overcoming them, overcoming adversities. Just big overcomings in life, to where you had to self-destruct, you had to destruct your environment, you had to destruct relationships, you had to destruct yourself, and then you rise. One thing that I really love about Scorpios is that, you know, for those that may be less aware, we may still have some kind of fear of pain or of change, transformation. One thing that I love about Scorpios is that we see transformation, death, pain, fear as tools, as necessities, as opportunities for growth. We see them as a necessary part in the process of becoming our better selves, of just another stage in the cycle. So for those Scorpios who are more aware, we don't really fear pain. We don't really fear death. We don't really fear darkness or confrontation like most people would, because we understand that we will rise from this, that these are opportunities for us to really recreate aspects of our lives that need to burn, and then we'll rise from the ashes and soar like the eagle or the phoenix. And I feel like if I were to observe the last 6 months of my life, which are things that you do want to observe, it's a cycle you want to observe with every full moon and new moon, is like, what did the past 6 months look like? Typically with a full moon, if you observe the past 6 months, you'll see that certain things that you wanted to manifest may have manifested. You'll see that maybe there has been a repeating pattern of something that you need to let go of, but you've been avoiding doing that. And if I were to look back and observe my own, past 6 months, I feel like a main theme, a common theme has been healing through love, a love that I've never experienced before, a very unconditional love, an understanding love, a love that helps me confront parts of myself that I may have never really been able to really confront, a love that comes with a lot of opportunities to learn. And I feel like that has been me. I mean, as we approach the full moon and the new moon, I personally feel the energy more and more intensely as we get closer to it. And with this full moon, I mean, just a few nights ago, my father passed away in 2011, and I've never been able to write anything about him. I've always wanted to write a poem about him, something that helps me remember him, that helps me cope with the loss. But I've just never been able to do it. I'll try to start writing, and I just can't. And the other night it just came to me. The other night I watched this poetry event. Shout out to my friend Teray for putting me onto this Zoom poetry event. And after that, I think I just hadn't heard poetry performances in so long. I felt so inspired and called to write a poem. And I think because of the energy of this Scorpio full moon, I was, and this time in my life, I was finally able to actually write a poem about my father. And it just came out, and I cried, and it just felt like, as an artist being self-critical of themselves and their work, I feel like my poem could be better. But I still see it as a breakthrough moment because it's something I've never been able to do before, and then out of nowhere, I can write a poem. So yeah, I wanted to share with you guys some of the other things that I felt leading up to this full moon. And maybe you can relate to them, maybe not. Maybe it'll make you realize of things that you have noticed leading up to this full moon. But for me, it's been intimate. I have everything written down. For me, it's been intimate conversations have been a theme the past couple weeks, especially. I've been calling family members. I've been really checking in on people, but not only them, but how are they feeling? How are they feeling really though? And most of the time I've been kind of the listening ear, and I really typically always am. I don't really talk a lot. It's typically me doing the listening. But I still appreciate those conversations because I learn just as much about myself when I'm listening to somebody talk about themselves and the emotions that they are feeling in the moment. But yeah, I've just been having more intimate conversations and healing conversations, conversations that help me understand aspects of myself or reasonings behind certain things, deeper observations of my actions and the people around me. I'm always observant. Scorpios are very, very observant people, but more so recently just kind of observing you know, what I have really been enjoying incorporating into my life and integrating into my life, and what I feel like I need to kind of let go of, which is what these full moons are all about. Canceling unused subscription. So kind of this theme of finances. I've been really looking at my bank statements recently, talking to my accountant, taking care of things that I should have taken care of a long time ago. But making sure I grant myself the forgiveness and the understanding that I simply did not know better, and now I am doing better because I do know better. But yeah, looking at my finances, canceling unused subscriptions, I realized that I was still subscribed to an old Netflix account, and I was being charged every month, and for some reason I like barely noticed it, like yesterday, the day before yesterday. They have great customer service, by the way. Where to invest my money. I feel like I have money that I want to invest in something that has a profitable potential. Looking at future home. Okay, so like it's still this theme of finances, and I've been super reflective on what I want my future to look like as well, and what does my finance department need to look like for me to manifest my dream future, my dream home. And I've been super into like interior design and all of that recently too, and just kind of making these like vision boards of what it'll look like when I'm living in my dream home and what it'll feel like. I've been journaling a lot about that too. Releasing obsessive energy on projects. So Scorpios can be very obsessive, and the reason why I'm telling you what these Scorpio traits are is because with this Scorpio full moon, you guys who may not be Scorpios or may not have really any Scorpio placements may not understand why you've been the way you've been recently, and maybe you've been having these Scorpio traits. But yeah, we can be very obsessive, guilty. And because of that, we need to release this energy onto something that's healthy. And so for me recently, that's been working on my ideas and projects. I've been, working on this YouTube channel. I just recently released a very big project, which I think I'm gonna do a video for next to talk about that. And also just kind of spring cleaning. I've been spring cleaning, in regards to projects, and things that I've been releasing energy on, is just kind of updating resumes and my decks and my websites, and just kind of clearing space digitally as well as mentally. Mentally, you can clear space by doing something creative, journaling, letting go of your emotions on paper through art, and then actually spring cleaning. Like I did a glorious spring cleaning of my closet like a week ago, and you really honestly do feel like you have more space, and it's important to feel that way in every aspect of your life so you can make space for the things that you do want to welcome into your life when the new moon comes in 2 weeks. And asking for guidance, support from the spiritual realm, with everything going on in the world, with this pandemic. It's just, and this is another reason why I feel like this full moon is so significant, because we are literally seeing the deconstruction of systems that just aren't working for us, of people and societies and communities, and it's like literally right in front of our eyes. And we're all kind of being forced to face this transformation that's being brought among us, and there's nothing we can really do about it other than reflect on, you know, the changes that we have to make in our own lives. You know, we all had plans this year that had to be canceled or postponed, and we kind of have to reinvent ourselves in some aspects. You know, a lot of us have lost jobs and lost loved ones, so it's not a coincidence. And you know, the fact that this full moon is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is a sign of transformation, it's like everything really does come full circle, really does. And so because of all that, I've just been, you know, asking the universe for guidance and support as to, you know, where do I go from here? Give me some signs. And you know, the more that you have these kinds of conversations, it's like you're kind of building a relationship with whatever higher power you believe in. What else? The energy that I've been feeling leading up to the full moon: nurturing talents, the talents that I have, and by that I mean brainstorming, learning. I've been doing a lot of, you know, learning new things, gaining new skill sets, strengthening the skill sets that I already have, brainstorming on ideas, expanding on ideas that I already have. That's another way to release energy onto something that is positive. And then channeling the phoenix. I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, in this conversation, that Scorpios are the only sign in the zodiac that take on another form. The eagle is when we soar, and the phoenix is when we really ascend. And I've just noticed that when I catch myself reverting back to old habits or old ways of thinking, when I revert back to things that just don't serve my higher self or my higher purpose, I realize that I kind of pause, and instead of like reacting immediately to something, I really try to respond to it. And there is a difference, because when you respond to something, you take the time to think about, okay, what outcome is going to come from the actions that I'm going to take right now. Whereas reacting, you just kind of react to something immediately, and you don't always end up happy with the way that you reacted to something. And so lately, I've been channeling the phoenix in me by looking at these moments where I'm about to revert back to an old self and think about, you know, whatever I'm facing right now, whatever I'm confronting, whatever is bothering me, whatever I'm about to react or respond to in an old way is something that is a learning opportunity, is something that can help me learn what is the lesson that is coming from this. So just kind of having these reflections in these moments is how I feel like I've been channeling my highest self, my phoenix. And so, yeah, I really wanted to share this list of things, of observations that I've noticed I have been having leading up to this full moon. And maybe some of you guys have, you know, realized in watching this, like, oh, I felt that too, or oh my gosh, I've been going through this too. Yeah. So I do want to, for those of you who, you know, don't have a ritual or like don't really know how to approach the full moon, I did want to share, as mentioned earlier, my friend Jocelyn, who has her Scorpio Mystique brand, her Know the Zodiac brand, which now caters to all the zodiac signs. Initially, it was just for Scorpios. The way that she breaks it down in her full moon guide is gratitude, awareness, release, and surrender. And I want to explain this in a way in which I interpret it. So this is my self-interpretation of this, but you know, for those of you that may follow me on Instagram, you know that every single day I start my day by writing one page. This is my gratitude journal of things that I'm grateful for. And I feel like whenever you start something, in whatever beginning that you're approaching, whether it's the beginning of a new day, of a new project, of reflection, any kind of little or big beginning, when you start it by through a mentality of gratitude, then you approach things with more light. And it's because this full moon is so centered around releasing and you having to confront things that may be triggering for you, things that you know you need to confront, and you need to let go of, and you need to work on. When you start with gratitude, and there's always something to be grateful for, it's kind of easier to approach these not so easy things, these not so easy conversations and thoughts, because you realize that regardless, you still have a lot to be grateful for. And then it's awareness. So this is what I'm gonna do after this video. I think this video was kind of, I don't think it is, now that I'm thinking about it, it's part of my ritual for this full moon, because it's forced me to reflect on everything and think about the energy leading up to this full moon, and what Scorpio traits are, and why I'm the way that I am. And anyways, after this, I'm gonna do my gratitude list, and then I'm gonna really reflect on my awareness and the things that I need to release. And I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna journal it. And some people in their rituals, because they're letting go of something, they like to burn the page that they wrote the things they want to release, but or something like that, just crumble it up into a little ball and throw it across a canyon or whatever. But I personally kind of like to keep these pages of things that I want to let go, because I kind of like to reflect back on the cycles, like what I want to let go of, and then 2 weeks later the new moon, what I want to welcome, what I want to let go of. But anyways, awareness. I feel like this full moon, it's not as clear to me as it has been in the past. And I'll give you an example of what I need to release. Because awareness, thinking back on, okay, 2 weeks ago was the new moon, looking back at my journal entry of things that I want to welcome into my life, how does that correlate with the things that I'm gonna let go of with this full moon? And then really thinking back to 6 months ago. 6 months ago was my birthday season. It was Scorpio season, which is, why also this full moon feels so significant, because the full moon cycle for me, this full circle ties back to my birthday. 6 months ago, I had recently moved to Los Angeles. It was one of the bestest birthdays I've ever had. I felt just so in my element and so in alignment. I had a wonderful dinner, a dinner that I wanted to manifest, and I had in my mind for so long, being surrounded by new friends and old friends, people that I wanted to manifest into my life. It was really, really interesting. And now that I'm thinking about it, as I mentioned earlier, this unconditional love that has been a theme in the past 6 months, it has helped me realize things that I still need to heal. And it's so interesting how love can trigger that. you know, how love, like a true, kind, unconditional love, can bring about pain and things that you still need to work on. And, you know, maybe it is obvious, the things that I need to release. Maybe that's the theme, you know, maybe I need to think back on these triggers. And these are the things that I need to release. Well, there you go. There you have it. You just witnessed a revelation. But the reason why I say it's not as obvious is because in my last relationship, the full moons, I never looked at them the same, because I really realized that with every full moon, it was giving me the opportunity to let go of this relationship that was so toxic and so not good for me, and was keeping me from evolving to my highest self, was keeping me from being aligned. I remember feeling so out of alignment in this relationship. It was, oh my gosh, it could be a whole other video. But I realized that every full moon, I was given the opportunity to say no. I was given the opportunity to let go and release this relationship that was definitely not serving me. And I wouldn't do it. The full moon would come again. I would be like, oh, this is my opportunity. Like, I had this gut feeling that this is what I was supposed to do. And then I wouldn't do it until eventually I did, you know, like 10,000 full moons later. But that's when it really just felt in my face. The full moon really felt in my face. And that's why I say, you know, in that time, it just felt very obvious. But now that I got myself to kind of talk about, you know, I'm already becoming aware. I'm already thinking about, you know, what I need to release. That's why it's just so important to talk and to reflect and think about these things. And the 6-month cycle really is so significant. So think about where you were 6 months ago and what has happened since then, because it might bring about some revelations for you as well. And then when you think about and you write down what you want to release, you surrender. And I like that my friend included that in her full moon guide, because this is you doing the work, you know, you reflecting, you taking the time to give yourself the space to do these rituals and to write and to, you know, this is all helping you become better. And this is you doing the work. And although you still do need to continue doing the work after this, it's not like, okay, like I told you what I want to release, I'm done. Like, you do still need to let go of the need to control the outcome. Let go of the need to control how this is going to be released in your life, how things are going to go about manifesting. You need to let go of it. You need to have faith that you did the work, that you are intentional, you are aware, and because of that, and because you're going to continue acting from that enlightened space, you let go, you surrender from having to control. And there you go, you know, Scorpio full moon, you may feel like you really want to be in control, but right now it's like, you know, because Scorpios are so obsessive, it's like, you know, this is really, really, really a theme for us right now, to let go. But yeah, that's I feel like now I really need to, like, right after this video, get to writing my gratitude list and start journaling what I want to release, because I'm in this headspace now talking to you guys. But yeah, for some reason I just felt so called to do this video last night, and I woke up really early, and Just really wanted to kind of share my reflections, and hopefully maybe this helps one of you. And if it does, then maybe I felt so called to share this with you, because it was just for you, to help you, to help that one person. Happy journaling, happy releasing. I mean, I guess it doesn't, it doesn't always have to be happy. It can be dark. It probably is going to be. I mean, it might. I'm not going to say probably. I'm not going to bring that on you. But, thinking about the things that you need to release might, and change. It's obviously going to bring about change. Not everyone really, it's kind of hard to welcome change in your life sometimes. But yeah, what was I getting at? Oh, happy. Maybe instead of happy, I'll say honest. Be honest. Honest releasing, honest journaling, and take it easy on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself, okay? If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend that you think might love this video, might need this video. And if you want more honest conversations, spontaneous conversations like this, leave it in the comments below. If you want to share some of your reflections or your observations in the comments, I would love to read them. And make sure to subscribe to my canal. Thank you guys for watching, and for tuning in, and yeah, enjoy the full moon. It is very potent right now, and yeah, thank you guys. Bye. Drink some water.